definitely thinks outside the box, huh?
Yeah, he's unbelievable what he's got going on. He's got a lot of things going on. Again, you'll see the crown and the loftiness of taking off, and of course, if he goes up to Mars or whatever, he's got to come back. So he's got him. And then I kind of highlighted the E because he's an electrical engineer. He's the head engineer and designer for SpaceX. Also, doesn't just own the company. So their capsule is a dragon. So incorporated into the crown, I kind of put like the back of a dragon with the scales all the way down to loop you back around so it's balanced and has a rhythm. And
suitcases down there.
Yeah. These are normally just squares in my paintings like this, but I put a couple handles on it just to kind of go with the moving thing still. But again, nothing that really jumps out at you one thing. It's something that you kind of have to look at the painting and think about. And when I look at these paintings, I kind of get lost in them for a while. Even though I painted them, I still go back and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I did that. Because I'll just.
So this is a different process applying this than this. So this part is, the first day I put on the substrate layer and let it dry and skin over, but not dry totally, right? And then the next day I put on a thin layer of slip, so actually pour a liquid, kind of like milkshake slurry of clay. So it's just a big puddle. And then don't touch it, just let it go. This part is much more like workable clay that's like pounded in. And again, it's got several layers, like, of different consistencies, different ratios of more additive, less additive. And then I can go back and put some really chunky pieces on the top. So like those things there's enough room for them to bite in there.
These are a couple of the printing pieces. So I would paint on here, and then this is a whole process where I do the painting. Well, I'll paint on here and print, and then I might, in fact, you can see this right here. I mean, this is this.
You mean on your own?
That's that.
Oh.
See, I mean, that's I paint on there, and then it's wet, and I go like that. So then there's a whole process where that happens, and then the paint's got to dry, and then I go in with the pen, and just the pen alone did it illegally now. Of just drawing all these things on here. That's after it's been painted and dried, and then I go back in with that whole, and then I'll look and I'll say, well, and I might say, boy, I'll rip off a little piece here, put some pen on, and so it's kind of a constant. But the last thing is when all that pen is drawn on at the end. So before that pen's drawn on, it looks kind of.
But you're also attaching additional layers as you go?
Yeah, right. That's part of the painting
You
process.
see pen, what is that?
This is, India ink.
Oh.
And it's all India ink. The colored stuff is India ink. And some of it's gouache paint, which is like a very thick watercolor.
Do you ever paint directly on the canvas, or is all the paint?
Yeah, no, the paint's on there. There's a whole painting under that.
Oh, that's right.
It kind
And
of
then the
started and
printing
builds up, and there in some places maybe that initial painting shows through. Like right here, this is initial painting right there.
So is there significance in the fact that everything is all layered? Like
Yeah,
that?
I mean, it has this Conference of the Birds with this incredible allegory where you read this book and there's like 10 layers of messaging. And sort of the Sufis believe that the more you learn, every time you read that book, you read a different book.
Yeah.
Like if I read it, I'm seeing the most basic level, and then someone else might give a second level or a third level. So it's kind of
Two different perspectives. It'll draw you in because of all the color.
Yeah.
Then you come in and there's tons of detail.
Yeah, people have fun looking
I
at it.
buried the
Yeah.
answer to the question, why are we here in there, but I can't tell you why.
10 years later, we'll still be looking at it.
Keep peeling, start peeling.
Start feeling.